everyone, and welcome to Book Club! Official name is We Should Read Book Club by We Shouldn't Sing. Our first book that we are doing is Hannibal. Now, I started Hannibal before I got the idea for a book club, so we are going to just sum up what happened in the first 50 or so chapters, and then we're going to cover chapters 50 to 64 in this episode. Oh, I'm so excited. Book club will be every Sunday. Hannibal! So this book, Hannibal, drinking game, every time Garley says Hannibal. Oh, I was gonna have a drink while I did this. Well, my lipstick looks too good. So this book started off, oh, spoilers, duh. This book started off on a very somber note. John Briggs died, which was absolutely horrifying to me. I really liked him in the first book, and when this book started out and he died, I was really upset. I was like, oh no, one of the most, decent characters dies. What does this say about the rest of the book? A lot. It says a lot about it. Ronaldo Pazzi, a lot of people, Hannibal season 3, I guess, announced that Ronaldo Pazzi will be appearing, and a lot of people didn't seem to care. I care. Maybe it's just because, reading this book, they really force you to read and understand Ronaldo Pazzi and everything. You should have just pursued Dr. Fell legit, because then guess what, you wouldn't be disemboweled off of a building. What your family does, apparently. The Pazzis get disemboweled and hung off buildings. And the skeleton in the cage that Ronaldo Pazzi observed, that it was like Dr. Fell looked at him as if he knew him or something like that. I'm calling it, that's totally the person that Dr. Fell replaced in that cage. The skeleton is the former curator or whatever. Misha's backstory, oh my goodness. I knew it was heartbreaking. I didn't know exactly what to expect. When Hannibal did mention how she had been digested, I thought the worst of him, but finding out that she had been cannibalized by two, oh god, my heart breaks. It really can. Krendler can go bleep 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 for all I care. I do not like him. I do not like him at all. From what I've seen of clips of the Hannibal movie, I feel like he's in for a really bad fate, but I do not know that for sure, so I don't want to comment on it. And Mason Verger is a sick puppy. Alright, so that's all you need to know up to now. So now let's get going. Ooh. Chapter 50. I have to say, one of the most notable things from chapter 50 for me was when Margot totally owned Krendler on the whole thing about Clarice keeping her distance, when Krendler just wanted to say she was frigid and shut down and maybe weird. And Margot was just like, maybe she just keeps distance because she doesn't want to constantly be hit on. Not, I'm paraphrasing because this is a library book and I don't want to put sticky notes in it. Chapter 51. Domling is annoying. Krendler is annoying. They used a quote in the show, when the fox hears a rabbit scream, he comes running, but not to help. So I just want to point that out. I don't know what annoys me more, but all the men want to sexualize this whole Hannibal Clarice situation. Now, let me tell you where I'm coming from with this. And, I read stuff about how the book, not how the book ends, but something that happens at the end, and just in my perspective, how I'm reading it as not a sexual situation at all, not sexualized at all. It's about control and manipulation, and the fact that control and manipulation and sexualization kind of look similar to each other nowadays is really a scary thing to think about. I don't believe Hannibal Lecter really has any sexual feelings at all. I really, really don't. I see him as an asexual human being. And really, I'm sorry, they could have him do this, that, and the other thing in the book. That would not change in my head. That is where I'm coming at this from. And Clarice Starling is a smart lady. She's not, I don't know, she's not lusting after a cannibal who mutilates people. Sorry, not sorry. Margot, and Margot laughing at them just reinforces that to me, that it really is a situation where the men are totally sexualize something unsexual, and it takes the women to look and be like, guys, haha, you're ridiculous. And they keep sexualizing Starling and Margot, and I can just see that that will lead them to failure, because, you know, it seems when men sexualize women, they're also in their mind underestimating and degrading them, and that can't end well for the men in this book, just saying. So in chapter 52, it was brought up about the ad that they had placed, I believe Mason Verger had placed, that would break Starling. In chapter 53, we learn that Hannibal Lecter is watching Clarice Starling and that he licked her steering wheel. In chapter 54, so, you know, Hannibal Lecter is just buying kitchen supplies, no big deal. Oh, here's some, like, a really good knife. Here's, you know, some really good this. Oh, here's some really good plates. Some nice wine glasses. And then let's go to a medical supply store and buy a cranial saw and other things. That can't end well. I'm just not seeing that end well for anyone. It's brought up again how he's haunted by Misha's memory, and, you know, obviously he's a psychotic killer that I'm not sympathizing with or empathizing. I know the difference. I just not at 12:30 in the morning. I really like this insight of how he became what he became. I really do, because I do see him in a slightly different way now. In chapter 55, we're at the gun show, and Donnie Barber is maybe in trouble a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe in trouble. In chapter 56, Barney and Margot become friends, and we get to see their friendship, and that's really, I really like that. That really excites me. In chapter 57, we get a funny moment where Starling almost says, "Oh yes, this is the meat department," instead of behavioral sciences. We learn that the senator in Silence of the Lambs has kept Starling in her fondness memory. You know what I'm trying to say. She thinks of her fondly. Ruth Martin thinks of Clarice Starling fondly. Chapter 58 is where we meet someone who now I really do like, and that's the sheriff, I believe, Sheriff Dumas, where he says, if he, Jack Crawford, sent you, you must know what you're doing, want to go ahead. And this is the first time a man, besides Jack Crawford, respects Clarice Starling. In past moments we've seen, like, you know, these men, they look to Jack Crawford first before they'll talk to Clarice and stuff. So this is the first time a man is just like, treats her totally equal. And Sheriff Dumas, I hope nothing bad happens to you, because I'm holding you really close to my heart. The whole autopsy, you know, the whole chapter actually was like one of my favorite chapters. I think chapter 58 is definitely one of my favorite chapters. Oh, in chapter 59 we learn that Clarice Starling is special to the other women, that they hold her in high regard, and that makes me really happy. Chapter 60, we find out that Franklin, the child that Mason Verger terrorized in the beginning, ate rat poison from his recommendation. And it just kind of, I don't know if anyone here watches Hannibal the series, but there's a character there, Franklin, who winds up dying, and then this Franklin obviously winds up not so well, and it's just not a good series to be named Franklin in. It really isn't. And we also find out that Margot, I have to stop being so robotic, and Margot is actually in the room and hears the secret conversation between Cordell and Mason. What up? Chapter 61, if you know me, you know I have a problem with what happens in chapter 61. Barney, I expected so much better from you. I really did. I expected, you know, I was so happy when him and Margot were like just being friendly, and then this chapter happened. Barney, I'll meet you halfway, alright? I really will. You liked what you saw, but trying to kiss Margot was over the line. I'm glad Barney and Margot talked about it and moved on, but, you know, there's a difference between liking what you see and then making a sexual advance as someone who very obviously isn't interested in you. Lesbians are not challenges. Lesbians are women who desire other women, okay? Not their male friends. Okay, chapter 62, Dr. Lecter makes dinner and is very intimate with wine. I just have Lecter makes dinner, wine. And chapter 63, Pickford calls Krendler and removes Starling starts. So now they're starting on that, and that's all I got up to. In the next episode of Book Club, we will be covering chapter 64 to whatever. This is probably an extra long video because we started so much in the beginning. Again, I'm just getting started with this, so I figure while I'm reading the book, I would do recaps and reactions, and when I'm done, I would do more of like book club discussion questions. What do you think of that? Seriously, like, I'm kind of going out on a thing. This is just an idea I have because, you know, I read books and I want to share my ideas. People I'm around haven't read the books, so I don't really have a chance to do that. So I really, you know, I figured this would be a good outlet. This is a great way to reach a lot of people. Let me know what you think. It's 12:30 in the morning, so if I'm not as animated, I'm gonna add music to this. Maybe I'll get some like woo music to kind of brighten this up a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really thank you so much. Please leave suggestions down below. I have a lot of plans. The next book, I will either do Hannibal Rising or we'll start the reread/read of the Child 44 trilogy, because that's really why I got this idea in the first place, because Child 44 is my favorite. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think there's a kind of a better way for me to structure this. Just seriously, let me know what you think. Like, this is totally new to me. I will see you next Sunday for more We Should Read Book Club, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.